Hey everybody, welcome to another Factional Fight update from Griffith's car. As you can see, I'm in my car driving home, which I do every day for too many hours. So I thought I'd just hit the record button and spew off a whole bunch of thoughts that are on my mind to give you an update about what I'm thinking about in terms of, you know, what is going on through my mind and how I kind of use this opportunity to sort of just shoot off some ideas and think about what's relevant this week in Wurm Online. So let's start with we received some extremely bad news, very, very sad news, that the developer team has lost a member. Titch has passed away from cancer, and that's just heartbreaking to me. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I've always felt that Titch is a superstar dev on the Wurm team. Everything she touched just came into the game and just made the game so much better. And it's such a loss to have her pass away. And very sad. The dev team has said that they're going to be putting in a memorial statue that is Titch's model, like Titch's character is getting turned into a statue that you can craft of her fishing and sitting on the docks. So that is amazing. I can't wait to see that in the game. I'm definitely going to be making one of those in memory of Titch, and probably putting it a little decorated area on the deed. Now, one thing that I found very interesting was that she was actually in the middle of working on a fishing overhaul of the fishing system in the game, and the devs, in her honor, are planning to finish it. I'm super excited to see this. I myself never really got into fishing. I did a little bit of fishing here and there, but definitely very excited to see how that system is going to come into the game. No doubt it will play sort of an interweaving role into the cooking system. So I'm very excited to see that. But yeah, very sad to hear of this loss. And Brian and I have been discussing what we can do on the show to honor Titch's memory. So we are going to be doing something for the next episode where our conversation is going to center around all of the things that Titch has brought into the game, and our experiences with them, and what the game was like before, and so on and so forth. I think this is a great way to remember Titch. Now, we never really knew Titch personally. We didn't really have any correspondence with her. But you know, I was always a big fan of everything that she did, and so very sad to hear of this loss. On to other things. We have finished our hunt. The Halloween hunt continued after last stream. I woke up the next morning all excited to get onto my horse and travel around and hunt again and again and again, and I must have gone back all the way up until on Monday, when I continued on Monday even. I really loved the Halloween event. I liked it last year too, but for some reason this year I was just so into it, and it motivated me to play more and more. Just before the event started, I imped my large maul up to 92. I sent it off to somebody to imp it, and by the end of the whole thing, it is below 70. So I did a ton of hunting. I killed a lot of things, and I got a lot of loot this year in comparison to last year. Last year I got 2 shoulder pads, and that was it. I basically, that's all the time I had. This year I had a little bit more time, and so and I was super lucky. I felt super lucky. There were times where I'd kill 2 things in a row, and one would drop a hat and another one would drop a shoulder pads. I ended up with 4 more shoulder pads and 9 witches hats One of which I was super lucky, and it turned supreme. I got a rare roll on the kill, and it gave me a supreme witch's hat. So happy about that. I also got 3 of the masks. 3 of the masks. I got the gold, silver, and oleander bone mask. So the only one that I was missing, or skull mask. The only one I was missing is the bone one. I think it was the bone. And I spent a lot of time at the end, like after I got those 3 masks, and then I was like, okay, I gotta get the 4th one, and I was just killing and killing and killing and killing. I killed so much, and I couldn't get another one. But got a few more hats out of that last stretch, so super happy, very, very excited, and I just love the event. And then Retro mentioned in the news that they are going to look into ways of using that system for other events, which I'm so happy about, because it's such an engaging event, and it really gets people out, off their deed and exploring and trying to just hunt away. So that was a lot of fun. Can't wait till the next time it happens. So we then I think it was yesterday, or no, the day before, we logged in and sailed our tunes back home. We brought them back to the Factional Fight village, and that's where we left them, so that they'd be ready for the next thing that we're going to do, which I'm still not sure what we're going to do. We're probably, my guess is that we're going to probably continue the decorations of our floors. I'm looking forward to getting back to that. I've had some ideas bouncing around my head about how I'm going to proceed. I'm probably going to change what I did on the last one. I like the floors, but I'm not sure about the walls. I might change the walls. And I've also was thinking of, instead of using doors, using archways. That way things are a little bit more open. And I'm thinking maybe a couple of a double archway. I want to use these new archways that they have. So can create some open spaces, yet divided up by these walls that have archways in them. So I'm interested to see what I can come up with. I'll have to get into the game and spend some time down in the basement there to work on that. Oh, one thing I forgot I was going to say at the beginning. So this little segment, this little update, I'm going to post it onto our Patreon page for all of our patrons, but this time around, for this particular one, I'm going to make it public. So anybody who comes to visit our Patreon page will be able to view this video. It's still going to be exclusive to our Patreon page, so I'm not going to post this on YouTube or anywhere else. So that, hopefully we can get some more traffic into our Patreon page and people can see what we're all about and what's going on this page. I might unlock some of the older updates. I'm not sure though. I'll think about it. Maybe one other one, just so that people can see what they can get access to if they become a patron of ours. Even $1 a month patrons are getting access to all the content that we're releasing on Patreon. Yeah, so I know that you guys are feeling like we're getting positive feedback from you guys. Getting a lot, all our patrons are hitting the like button, and Amy, you are inspiring me to continue these with your comments. So thank you very much for your comments that you leave. It definitely feels good when you guys watch our videos and enjoy it. Makes me inspired to make more and to continue on doing this. So another thing that I wanted to discuss was, with the whole news about Titch has also got me thinking about delving really deep into some of the systems that we haven't delved deep into before. And the one that came to mind immediately was, we really got to do the cooking episode. It makes me really sad to think that we're going to do this cooking episode and Titch won't be able to watch it. It would have been nice to do the cooking episode and for us to delve deep into that. And it's a system that I think is the crowning achievement of the development of this game. That update really, really cohesively brought together so many elements of the game and made such an impact on the richness of the world. And the main reason why we haven't tackled this was just because of the sheer enormity of the system, and we are definitely not experts in it. But I feel like just going in and giving our perspective, even though we're not experts on it, is probably okay. So I really, really want to get to that cooking episode. Probably not this upcoming one, but we'll look at it in the near future, where we'll just spend the day, spend the stream just doing cooking and explaining everything that we know about cooking and what we like about it. But yeah, that's definitely something that's real right on our minds, and we're trying to think of how we can go about doing it. It'll be I feel like it's going to be a completely different format than what we used to do. We used to, our old episodes where we would pick a crafting, one of the crafts, and we would just do a whole tutorial episode on it. Our goal there was to do the whole episode in under an hour, and to give a comprehensive sort of tutorial while also being a little bit entertaining. I'm not sure whether or not we're gonna do something similar to that. I think more so it would be something that is off the cuff. We'll have some notes written down about some things we want to cover, but in terms of what we say and how we say it and things like that, I feel like it'll be more audience engagement and off the cuff sort of flow. But I'm not sure yet. Brian and I have to sit down and think about it. The real thing is that those old episodes, we had a lot of time to sit and plan them, and we would spend probably every episode. We probably had 2 sessions where we sat down for a couple hours each session and plan it out. Plan out all the things we wanted to say, write down as many tips and tricks, and then we would spend time organizing all the information. And then when it came down to filming the show, it was so close to a script almost. We definitely do not have this kind of time. We haven't had that kind of time for a long time. So our lives were completely different back then. And now we don't have really that time to prep. So we sort of, a long while ago, made the agreement that we kind of want to continue streaming, but we won't have the time to plan out the episodes. So we sort of compromised and made it so that we would just turn on the stream and just talk, no plan, just randomly we just start talking, and whatever comes to mind, whatever happens, and it was completely unscripted. And we've been like this for a while now. All of season 5 was like this. All of season 5 was like this. And it went well. We enjoy it. We have a lot of fun that way. The only problem is that then you don't get those tutorial type episodes that might be helpful for new players or people who are trying to figure out systems, and really tutorial type episodes we've already discussed how we're trying to weave them in somehow. I did a little bit of an experiment, and it was again off the cuff in a recent episode, not last one, but the one before, where I was on my own, and I was doing my decorating in the basement, and somebody was asking, what is the most effective way to channel grind? And we were just talking about it. It was just something that came up, and I thought, how about I just log on to my Priest and I show you how I do it. And it ended up being less than a half hour of segment where I was on my Priest and just showing the most effective way that I've come across to channel grind. And I rewatched it and thought, wow, that actually turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good. I think that I might even spend some time clipping that piece out and making its own little section, and that will be one of our first tutorials. So my envisionment for tutorial type videos is this kind of thing, where something sort of naturally comes up, and next thing you know, I'm explaining something, or Brian's explaining something, and we're showing how to do it, and then we just clip that piece out and put it as a separate episode on YouTube, make a playlist of these things. Now I know this isn't what everybody wants. Like, some people are asking for like a full tutorial from the beginning, new players, you know, like right from the beginning, assume you know nothing and just do a complete tutorial that way. And while I agree that that would be great content, it would be great content, the problem is that it would take an immense amount of prep. And, you know, it takes us away from what we are enjoying. So what it really would mean is that each stream is going to be a lot shorter, and there might be weeks where we don't do streams because instead we're getting together and using that time to prep. And I don't really think that I think it'll be less enjoyable for us, even though the end product might be more valuable to the community. I just can't bring myself to sacrifice that. You know, sacrifice the content that we're giving out right now, because it's something that I'm really enjoying and having a lot of fun with. So, with that said, I feel as though the tutorial bits that we might do are ones where they sort of naturally fit in with what we're doing, or they just fit in the flow of the stream. It reminds me of another streamer that I watch from time to time. His name is Jane. He does Overwatch streaming. So Overwatch is another game that I play, so I watch some streams, and I really like Jane. He is the coach for Team Canada in the Overwatch Cup, the Overwatch World Cup. So he's a coach, a professional Overwatch coach, and he does this stream where he's just amazing. He's just great. He'll review people's VODs. He will do all sorts of things. But one thing that I think he does really well is he'll get a question from the audience, or somebody from his Discord channel. Somebody will ask a question, and he'll go, okay, we're going to just take a second here, and we're just going to teach you this. And it's like this one little thing, and he spends 10 minutes and he shows this whole thing based off of a person's comment, and then that ends up getting clipped out and putting on YouTube as one of his like little teachable moments. Completely non-scripted, completely not planned. It just came out of nowhere, and it just happened to be, and it's like maybe an advanced strategy, you know. These tips don't end up being like beginning to end tutorials. They end up being snippets and just tips and tricks and things like that. And they come out as 10-minute clips of him just showing something that's completely off the cuff. Oops. So I kind of like that strategy because it allows us to continue doing what we want to do. It allows us to continue doing what we want to do at the same time as, providing content that might help new players learn the game. So that's sort of what I'm thinking and leaning towards. Let me know what you guys think. That's what I'm thinking. So that's that. Another piece of news that we got in the weekly update was that the horse colors got picked, and I am happy to say that the 3 that I voted for all ended up in there. It was the Blanket Appaloosa, the I can't remember the name of it, but the brown one that had the white brown splotches on white. I can't remember the name of it. And the other one that I voted for was the black silver one, the silver black. Is that what it's called? Silver black or black silver? The one with the black body but silver hair. That one looks so cool. I can't wait for these horses to come in. What I'm interested in knowing is that, are the devs working on something more than just adding 5 new colors? The last time they added the colors, at least it was rumored that there was a hidden trait or an extra trait on one of them, which is kind of like a small little addition. But maybe, just maybe, this is going to come along with a little bit more than just colors. I do hope that something is going to be worked on in terms of the animal husbandry system. I know Brian is really, 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 really wanting a taming system update, and maybe, you know, I do feel as though that whole area could use a complete rework. You know, sort of like a cooking update level version of update on the animal husbandry system. You know, one that's far-reaching rather than just a specific let's fix horses, or let's just fix, you know, a small little piece here. I wonder if this sort of is fitting into a larger rework of a system. Very curious. The devs have been very secretive. They've been hinting at the fact that they're working on things, and it sounds as though many different things. I heard somewhere Buddha was even working on 2 different things, 2 main systems. Probably the UI is one of them. So there's that, and then you have all these other devs working on their own things, like Sindusk. I know when he first came on, he was talking about working on the combat system, and then the pre-system got worked on instead, and then there's still the combat system is up in the air, so he might be working on that. And you know, there's I even heard rumors of a rework for the account system is being worked on, which is very exciting to hear. Again, just rumors, so this is not from official word of mouth, but I heard that there's something related to connecting characters to an account. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, or how. Like, I have no idea how this is going to work, but it sounds as though there might be something, and again, rumors, totally could be wrong, but it sounds like there's going to be something where multiple characters can be linked to a single account, or something to that effect. I'm not sure what the end goal of that would be, but I don't know, could be something. And there's gonna be, I know that they've constantly been talking about the online shop, where they're going to be selling golden mirrors, you know, all sorts of tons of different systems are being worked on here, there, and the other. It's not out of the realm of possibility that there's somebody working on an entire rework of the animal husbandry system, especially with the fact that these horses are coming into the game at some point too. But as we know, development of this game is a slow-going process. But you know, as if the last few years are anything in any indication of what's going to happen, it's just going to slowly be trickling in, which is great. I like the fact that features are coming in at a constant rate. But one thing that I've toyed with in my mind before, and we talked about this on the episodes back in season 5, would it be better to hold on to a bunch of updates and release them all at the same time, rather than trickling them in the way that it has been going, right? Like, let's put in the archaeology update, now let's put in the priest update, and then now let's put in this other update, and then placing items is another item update, and then, you know, it's just one thing after another. And don't get me wrong, each one of these things on their own are amazing and game-changing and wonderful. But I wonder what it would look like if all of those things were being worked on and finished and polished behind the scenes without really letting us know what's happening. And then after maybe 4 months of nothing, bam, a massive overhaul of many different systems comes in all at once. Now, I'm not sure which way is better, trickling in the content or holding the trickle until one big update can come and just address the whole, tons of systems. I'm not sure which one is better. But one thing I do know is that from a marketing perspective, the big update is definitely has a better potential for drawing in people. If you know what I mean. You can hold off on all these things and then put them all in at once, and then it makes a much bigger splash, a much bigger impact that can be felt far more by the people who are outside of the circle of this game. If you coincide that release with some interviews on some media, some popular magazines that cover sandbox MMOs or just MMOs in general or video games in general, and you advertise these massive updates, it has the potential to pull in more people, right? When people hear like an old game got a huge facelift, that might pique interest. Whereas, that old game got a little thing that I don't think it's going to draw that many people in. From a player's perspective, from my perspective, I do like the content coming in. It keeps me interested. So there is that to be considerate of, that if you don't have anything coming into the game, you might lose people's interest. I think that's what the devs are trying to combat. Because if you continue, like if every 2 weeks you add something small and new, it keeps people trying those new things. But I feel like that's a losing battle. It's not gonna, you're trying to hold the flood by plugging the holes. I feel as though we need some system or some push to get people into the game. Get the word out that this game is undergoing massive changes. And if you look at what the game looked like 3 years ago and you look at what it looks like now, like if all of those updates from the past 3 years were not put into the game, but tomorrow all of a sudden all of those updates were to come in all at once, you could just imagine the effect that it would have on people's opinion of the game and the view of the game. It would just be like, wow, this game just got a complete and utter facelift. And that might be enough to just inspire people to give it a shot, especially since it's free. Just hop in and see what the game looks like now. We're definitely seeing a big change in the last little bit. Visually, I can't wait for the water update to come in. I can't wait for horses, priest update. Things are happening, and they have been happening for a long time. So really excited. So I think that's it. That's all that's on my mind for now. And this weekend we're going to be streaming again one day on the weekend, although I haven't yet hammered down a date. Like usual, our schedules are always up in the air and things can happen. Things can't really get solidified until we get to the point where we're thinking about our schedule for the weekend. And then we have to align our schedule, and then we'll see what happens. Sort of seeing a trend that Brian is making every other week, which is okay. I'm just glad that he's able to come out and play Wurm. It's been a lot of fun, and projects are slowly moving, slowly but surely, and they will get done over time. I hope that you guys are okay with the pace at which we're going, because this is the pace that we go. The Labyrinth was going at this pace too. If you guys remember back in season 3, we started the Labyrinth and it was just creeping along. And that's the way that this game goes for us. We are definitely not the hardcore type players who sit in game for hours upon hours getting things done. We do a little bit here and then a little bit there, and we keep our eye on the ball. We have our vision in place, and every so often we put just a couple percent on that progress bar towards the end, and over the long term it gets done. And when it's done, it's just that feeling of accomplishment is huge. So there you have it. That's a Factional Fight update from Griffin's car. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you on our next stream, which is this weekend sometime. I'll post on the forums and in Discord, on the Wurm Discord. I'll post sort of like an update when I know exactly what date we're going to be doing things on, to let you know. And yeah, until then, keep on worming. Have fun, guys.